And we are live. On tonight's episode of Traditional Homemakers Live Q&A, I have 3 articles on homemaking for you. And as always, I will answer your homemaking questions. But before we get into that, if we're just meeting, I'm Denise Jordan, and I teach traditional homemaking for today's homemaker. So if you want to learn more about that particular topic, then hit that subscribe button and tap the little bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos or live stream sessions. Okay, let's get into it. Let me get there we go, iPad situated. I thought I had it all ready to go. And I had it on, and then when it popped on, there was a commercial on there, so I had to take that off. So, hey, everybody, it is so good to have you with me tonight. I see we have 14 people on. If I could get 14 thumbs up, that would just be great. And tonight's format's going to be just a little bit different because I thought it would be fun to approach this from a perspective of 3 articles on homemaking. And I will tell you, I am totally getting the idea from Jennifer Scott at the Daily Connoisseur. She does a series called 3 articles on dress, and she does it about every 2 months, and they are always so interesting. So I thought it would be fun to see about bringing a similar series to us. So we are going to be looking at 3 articles on homemaking, and then we're going to be discussing those. So let me give a few greetings real quick, and then we're going to jump right in. So I see I have got Miss Congeniality is on with us tonight. Hey there, G. Good to have you with me as well. And then Flora Swinney, hello to you. And here's one of my youngest little subscribers, Vamsi. And Vamsi, it's good to have you with me as well. And Tablescape greetings. Tablescape Diva is also sending greetings and blessings. And Going Green Mom, and I believe her name is Megan, is sending us greetings as well. And then, of course, there is Michelle from My Everyday Wife, who is on with us as well. So let's go ahead and we're going to jump right in to the first article, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to share the screen, and you guys know the drill. I got to talk myself through it so that I don't mess it up. And I'm going to share that. And then I am going to share this article here. And this first article comes from the Modern Guide to Homemaking. It is a blog that I found that I just thought was so interesting. And it's got 13 frequently asked questions about homemaking. And then she also gives some answers to go along with that. But here's the interesting thing about this particular article. This one is written by a woman who had worked in corporate America for a while, and then she left her job to go home. And part of it was because she wanted to enjoy more time at home with her family, but also wanted to be able to spend and focus more time on her marriage and that kind of thing. And she said she did have some interesting ideas about homemaking prior to leaving the workforce. And she said one of the things that she knows is that many people think of full-time homemakers as lazy, uneducated, or unmotivated women who likely have a rich husband. Now, she may not have thought those exact same things, but her thinking on that subject of homemaking was a little fuzzy. And however, she said once she left her full-time job and became a full-time homemaker, she realized how wrong she was in thinking those things. So the first question that she addresses in this 13 question series is, what is a homemaker? And as we've been talking about here on TNT Live with our traditional homemaking show, is that a homemaker is anyone who runs a household. And that includes everything associated with running a household, which includes running, like your bills, your errands, your chores, and then also creating an environment that is loving and nurturing to family and friends. And that's just some of the things that we've been addressing over the past few weeks. And it said, even if you don't like Pinterest and, you're not the neatest person in the world, whatever effort you put into your homemaking is considered homemaking. And whereas my mom may not have been the neatest home keeper, she was certainly a great homemaker. And I wanted to back up for a second and ask about one of the things that she mentioned here was that she hopes that as a result of writing this article, that we would put in a world where we tell people that they can be anything that they want to be, we will stop discrediting the meaningful work of home and family. So let me just ask you homemakers out there who are full-time homemakers, you're home with your families all the time. So you're a stay-at-home mom, you're a full-time homemaker, or you're a full-time homemaker and you're making a home for yourself and your husband or your partner. Have you had any people give you criticism, negative Nancy kind of comments, that kind of thing, because you are a full-time homemaker? Tell me in the chat box if you've had that experience as to whether or not you've been denigrated for being a stay-at-home mom or full-time homemaker. So that's the first question that I want you guys to address for me, if you've had that experience before. And then it asks, the next question she asks is, who can be a homemaker? And it can be anyone. It can be anyone. It doesn't matter what gender you are or how old you are or what your marital status is. As we've been talking about, if you're making and keeping a home, you're a homemaker. It can just be you by yourself, or it can be you and a partner, or you and a family. If you're trying to do the things necessary to manage a home, you are a homemaker. And then as far as what are the requirements for a homemaker, where there really aren't any, you just jump in and start trying to get that done. And then the other thing she asked was, is homemaking a full-time thing? And she says yes and no. And personally, I think if you're a homemaker, you're being a homemaker full-time. Now, whether or not it falls under the auspices of your stay-at-home homemaker or stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, a stay-at-home parent, or a stay-at-home individual managing the home, or if you're working outside the home and you are still responsible for whatever's going on inside that home. So if you're working outside the home and someone calls you about the house or from the house and it needs your attention and you have to leave work and go, you have to leave work and go. So whether you're in the home full-time or in the home part-time working and working outside the home, you're still responsible for that home 24/7. So from my perspective, homemaking is full-time, regardless of whether you're working inside or outside the home. What are your thoughts on that? So, and just looking over here at some of the comments, I have Flora Swinney, who says, yes, people ask her, what do you do all day? So she's had some things like that. And Shirley Taylor says she's been a full-time homemaker all her married life for 45 years now, had lots of criticism from her mother-in-law. Okay, now that's interesting. So lots of criticism from your mother-in-law for being a full-time homemaker. And one of the things that I do know, that we as women often are hardest on ourselves, on each other. So there's that. And then Robin Woodward said she was a full-time homemaker, stay-at-home mom with 5 kids for 25 years and didn't get many pats on the back and not much encouragement. So I understand that too. So, okay. So that's unfortunate that for some reason we disparage that particular occupation that is certainly very, very important and very necessary. So that comes to number 5 then, which the question is, do you have to have kids to be a homemaker. And I've already said, the answer to that question is no. It could just be you and your husband or you and your partner, and you've made the decision to be a stay-at-home homemaker just to kind of help to boost or build the foundation of the marriage, and also maybe to ease some peace and mind for yourself and for your relationship, that kind of thing. So now this one was, how much money do you make as a homemaker? I found very interesting. And unless you are being a homemaker for someone else, typically we don't get paid as a homemaker, or you don't get paid as a homemaker. It's typically an unpaid position unless you're a professional homemaker for someone else. And for full-time homemakers, many of them will have, now when I say full-time homemakers in the home, they don't work outside of the home at all, then typically there is a partner who is working outside of the home, who is managing all the financial responsibilities and bringing those things in, the finances in, and then the stay-at-home or full-time homemaker is managing all of the things that go along with running the house. So that includes bill paying and making sure taxes get paid and all those kinds of things. So I guess one of the things that you might want to ask yourself then is, why would a person make the decision to stay at home, and is it financially feasible? Well, that depends upon you and your partner, whether or not it's financially feasible for you. But statistics have proven that when you have a person working full-time inside the home who has decided to stay out of the workforce but stay at home to manage the family, there's some significant loss in income from the second paycheck, but you also have a significant, I'll say you don't have as many expenses, because of course, if you have a family and you're going out to work, then you have the huge expense of childcare, the huge expense of a second car or bus passes or something like that, in addition to lunches at work or lunches outside the home for yourself and that kind of thing. So it's considered really to be, can be very economical for that person to stay at home with the family, because there's a lot of expenses associated with working outside the home when you have a family. Now, if you need both those incomes to manage the family, well, then it's a trade-off. Okay, let me take a look and see what's going on over here as far as questions. So now Michelle at My Everyday Wife Life says she was a full-time homemaker when she turned 35 and her son was 13 at the time, and she didn't receive any criticism, which is great. Not all women can tell that story. And Michelle says, honestly, staying at home saved her marriage and made it much stronger, better. So yeah, I get that, Michelle. I can certainly see that as well. So yes, that makes sense. So now let me just finish this article up real quick. So I mentioned what are some of the expenses that homemakers have. And then the other question is, how do you know if being a full-time homemaker is right for you? And that's something you and your partner have to talk about. It's not a decision you make lightly, but it's something you guys talk about, and you come to a decision based upon your financial situation, based upon your family needs, based upon the sanity of both of you, and that kind of thing. But definitely it's something worth talking about. And when you look at the benefits of homemaking, certainly there's a benefit of having a foundation for your family, for your children, for yourself, and for your partner. And then this is a question that comes up often, which is, if I'm a full-time homemaker, am I the only one responsible for household duties? Well, that depends on you and your partner. You guys can decide whether or not, if I'm working outside the home, that means I'm not doing anything in the home. There can be a few things that they are assigned to do inside the home just to show some support for the homemaker, that kind of thing. But you definitely have to have a discussion in that regard. And then last question is, if you become a homemaker, is that all you can do? And the answer to that question is no. You can have your side hustle. You can develop a YouTube channel. You can have an Etsy shop. You can do childcare in your home to bring in an additional income for those people who have to work outside the home and they need someone that they can depend on to care for their children. There's lots that you can do to supplement that income. So being a homemaker does not necessarily define who you are. Now, it can if you choose for it to be, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to. And being a homemaker is certainly quite rewarding. Quite rewarding. Now, I'm going to stop sharing this screen for a second. So let me stop that and come back over here. And then I'm going to look at some of the questions and some of the answers. And can't talk tonight, guys. Grab a drink of water. My throat is getting dry already. And I should probably say this particular show is brought to you in part by the Coldest Water. And the Coldest Water is a company that makes water bottles and thermoses and all kinds of all kind of accessories that is designed to keep your beverages cold so that when you need a cold drink, you've been working in the house for a while, you've been working out in the garden, you've been working out in the gym, and you need a cool drink, you've got one. So this is one of my new sponsors, and you'll kind of see that water bottle from time to time again, but I find that I am enjoying it. But okay, let me take a look at these comments. So, okay, let's get over here. And when I've got the screen up, I can't see the comments over here. I can see them over there, but I can't share. So there we go, where Shirley Taylor said she was a full-time homemaker for 45 years and had lots of criticism from her sweet mother-in-law. And that is unfortunate. Robin was a stay-at-home homemaker with 5 children for 25 years, and surely not many pats on the back or encouragement. And sometimes we as women disparage what other women do, but we've got to get away from that because like the lady said in this article on 13 frequently asked questions about homemaking, is that if you can do whatever you want to do and your choice is to be a stay-at-home homemaker, well then, hey, more power to you. And let's support one another in that decision. And then Kimberly Davis is on with us as well. And then Blue Sky said she's never had kids, but she says from watching her own mother and sisters raising children and manage a home, it is a very difficult job and very demanding, which is quite true. And then Matriarchs Matter says her husband affords her to stay home because they live within their means and goals. Now, bam, I think we need to dwell on that for a second. They live within their means and their goals. So typically, if you are a stay-at-home homemaker and there's only one income coming in, you really have to be careful in setting a budget, setting family goals regarding your finances and your spending, and to live within those. So yeah, I get that. Shelley said she found that savings from no child care, rare meals out, and lots of time to do things that they might have hired someone to do, plus the energy and time to nurture the marriage and the kids was worth it. Absolutely. Absolutely was worth it. So there were times in my life when I was home with the kids full time. And then there were times when I was home with the kids part time and worked part time. And then when I went out to work part time and, full time, and the kids were older, that kind of thing. So yeah, I can certainly address the benefits of all three of those worlds. And I'm thinking working part-time for me was the best because, I was out just enough to be able to get some adult conversation, make a little extra money, and not go stir crazy from being around the house all day. But I was able to manage the things that I needed to get done at home even more. So yes. So Shirley said her husband worked away from home and still does, and he appreciates her keeping the home fires burning. He comes home to a clean, well-kept home, pretty home, and dinner in the oven most days. And I get that most days. I understand completely. Matriarchs Matter. Matriarchs, you're going to have to tell us your name. We like to know each other's names over here. but she's responsible for everything related to homemaking. But her husband works, but he paints, fixes things, and takes care of the cards, etc. And that's the way it is around here. I pretty much do all the homemaking things. The husband will help me cook and clean, but as far as painting and cars and all that kind of stuff, he does that. So we do have a nice little balance that we work within. Let's see. Susie says that she wishes she could have stayed home. Knowing what she knows now, they might have been able to manage it financially. And she wishes there was YouTube then so that you could get the kind of support. You know what? I hear what you're saying. The kind of support we can get from YouTube now is a little bit different from what we were able to get early on. And then Kimberly Davis was a stay-at-home mom for over 25 years. Her husband worked different shifts in law enforcement, and she believes the best decision that they made was for her to be at home with their 4 sons. And I can certainly see that, because if the hubby is working all these different shifts, that means you're the one that's going to have to be on hand when something is popping, because he's working different shifts, and he can't be dependent upon to be there at certain times. So you have to pick up the slack there. Now, of course, if there's a true emergency, he can get free to get home when need be. But I understand when you're rotating shifts like that, someone's got to try to be consistent in the home. So Kimberly, thank you for sharing that as well. And Alexandra says she's planning on staying home when her and the fiance decide to foster children. But right now she's working. And so it's just a season of life that they're looking forward to. Okay. All right. And so Momsy wants to know, do I stay at home with my family? Yes, I'm at home now. It's just me and the hubby, and I'm home all the time. So, okay. So now there's a question that was asked by, like, what do homemakers do? So now let me show you this. And this comes from that same article, 13 frequently asked questions. And then we're going to move on. So I'm going to share the screen, Chrome tab, and I think this is it. Wait, nope, that's not it. Right here. There it goes. So this is from the same article, but this was like a link in the article, 10 things a homemaker does all day. So if you've ever wondered what a homemaker does all day, and she said she used to until she became a full-time homemaker, well, they keep the house clean and organized. They manage the budget. They plan and make meals. They run errands. They take care of the children if you have them. If you don't have them, then you just do things to kind of take care of the home for yourself and the hubby. Maybe you have parents or some other people that you help assist with. You take care of pets if you have them. You do yard work, gardening, and, making the porch nice and all that kind of thing. Basic home maintenance. Now, some of the full-time homemakers do some basic home maintenance, like small painting of different little things and changing light bulbs and batteries. Now, I will admit I don't do any of those things. As far as painting the porch or deck, drywall, or now I do test the fire alarm, but changing light bulbs and everything else, the hubby does. And then, of course, preparing for holidays and special occasions, and then personal development and self-care, which is very, very important. So I just thought this was one of the links in that article that was just very interesting for us to take a peek at. So there's that one. And I will link it below in the description box so that you can check that article out if you would like to. And then we're going to move on now to the second article that I wanted to be sure and talk about. And so now I'm going to share the screen again. And share the screen. And share the screen. Back tab. Now this one, which is entitled old-fashioned homemaking routines, I thought just really kind of supported the content that we've talked about in the past couple of weeks. So I thought it was a good article. Now, this article I found on the blog, avirtuouswoman.org. And I will say it does have very heavy Christian overtones to it. It has a lot of Bible verses, which she refers to support some of the things that are in the article. So I'm not going to read those. But what I did want to do was talk just a little bit about where she says the older she gets, the more she realizes how much wisdom that our mothers and grandmothers had when it comes to homemaking. And I have to tell you, I mentioned that Jennifer Scott from the Daily Connoisseur is where I got the idea from regarding 3 articles on homemaking. And she did a series where she talked about the homemaking lessons learned from the Little House in the Big Woods series. So like the Little House on the Prairie, Laura Ingalls Wilder, who wrote that, talked about how Ma had a routine of how she did different things related to homemaking. And she talks about the fact that there's a reason why old-fashioned homemaking routines were popular and that they still work. The other thing she talks about was the difference between routines and schedules. So now let me ask you guys, which one of you who likes routines and who likes schedules and who likes to have both? Drop that information in the chat box and I'll check it out once I'm done reading this article real quick. But one of the things she says about routines is that routines give a soothing rhythm to your day. So you kind of know it's Monday. When you get up on Monday, I'm going to do the weekly home blessing. And the weekly home blessing is going to be stripping the bed and starting the laundry and cleaning the mirrors and then sweeping the floors and then vacuuming and mopping and dusting. It's like I don't have to think about it. I know it's going to happen. That's a routine. Now, what's a schedule? Well, a schedule is more regimented. And she says a schedule works better for women who work outside the home, families with very tight, very busy schedules, those who need certain activities or appointments to happen at specific times, or highly disciplined individuals. Now, as you guys should probably remember, I follow the Flylady cleaning system, and we have a series of routines, but one of the routines is actually a schedule. For example, the daily routine, the evening routine, the after breakfast routine, the bedtime routine, we have all of those. But then we also have the weekly routine, which are actually schedules, because on Sundays, renew your spirit. On Monday is the weekly home blessing, which is a schedule for those things. Tuesday is the free day. Wednesday is plan day. And so it's a planning day where you do your planning, you do your bills, your checkbook, that kind of thing. Thursday is errand day, Friday is car and purse day, and Saturday is family fun day. Or if you're working outside the home, Saturday you're picking up some of the things you didn't get done during the week. So the Flylady system is a combination of routines and schedules, that kind of thing. And I had this question. Let me stop sharing this for a second. Wait, no, I wasn't supposed to do that. There. I'm going to stop sharing that for a second and then come back over here and share this with you. So this was one of the questions that I got from one of my viewers, and her question was, what do you suggest for people who work outside the home and desire to keep their homes neat? And as I just said, schedules and routines are going to be huge for those that are working outside the home. So maybe as part of your routine during the week, there might be some things that you do daily or every evening, that kind of thing. But then as far as the schedule is concerned, there may be some things that you do on each day of the week to kind of help you get ready and move you through the weekend. So that was a great question, and it just really lended itself well into the things that we were talking about today. So I'm going to stop sharing that and come back over here to to here. So now I'm going to get back to the article that we were looking at, and let's just see real quick. So Shelley said she was really lonely when she quit her first job, but soon made new friends and had a great community. And then Matriarchs Matter, Nefertiri. Okay, I think Nefertiri is her name. She says, one thing homemakers do not do is sit down. Girl, yes, you are busy and on the go all day. And Blue Sky says she likes routines, but can't always stick to it. But the nice thing about routines is you just do it every day. And if you don't feel well, you just jump in the next day. Remember, there's no behind. You just do when you jump in. Sylvia says she's a stay-at-home mom and have been since 2012, and she knows she will be going back to work, but she doesn't. But she'll be going to work from home while her little ones are off to bed at night. So it's going to be a new journey. So it sounds like she's taking a new job and she's going to be working the night shift, which means she's going to be pretty tired, because if she's working the night shift, she's going to be up when those little ones are up. So she's going to need to nap when they nap. But yeah, that's a tricky one. My mom worked the night shift. So Nefertiri said she uses both routines for standing chores and schedules for everything else. And Christy says she watched the Little House series and it was so good. She loves the routines of knowing what's happening each day, that kind of thing. Okay, let me get back to this other article real quick. So let's see. I'm there. So I need to do this, that, this. And we're looking at that one. Okay. So we've talked about the routines versus schedules. The other thing she talks about in this article is getting dressed for the day. A la Flylady cleaning system, she talks about that as well. The fact that when you get dressed every day, you feel more energetic and more likely to do things. When you don't get dressed every day and stay in pajamas, you're less likely to feel motivated. So that's just something that she mentions here in her article. And the Flylady also supports that same thing. I thought this part of the article was interesting because it talked about 8 dailies. And Michelle at My Everyday Wife Life also has some daily things that she does. But look at her 8 dailies. Make your bed. Start a load of laundry every day, dry, fold, and put away, sweep the floors and vacuum, tidy the kitchen, wipe down the bathroom, straighten the house, 10-minute declutter, and take out the trash. So much of the Flylady cleaning system is right in this. And then also in some other cleaning methods that you will find on YouTube, online, wherever. There's so many things that are associated with that as well. So I thought that was very interesting. She also talks here about weekly chore routines. And so that you can try to get as much done as you can before Saturday so that you can spend that Saturday as family fun day. Or if Saturday must be spent getting some work done because you work outside the home, then try to have that work done on Saturday by 11 o'clock so you and the family have the afternoon to yourselves. And then she gives some examples of what you might do on a weekly basis. Like, for example, Monday is bathroom day. Tuesday is floors. Wednesday, sheets and towels. Thursday, meal planning and grocery day. And I thought this was interesting that according to experts, Wednesdays and Thursdays are the best days to do your grocery shopping. So, who knew? And then Friday is dusting and Sabbath prep. And then the old-fashioned housekeeping rules, which I also think are very interesting. Rule number 1, put it away, don't put it down. Rule number 2, a place for everything and everything in its place. Rule number 3, a tidy house is easier to clean than a messy house. That is so true. You can clean up a tidy house just like that. A messy house takes some time. Kids need chores appropriate for their age. That is true. And kids need to know that it is their responsibility to help maintain the house as well. Mom is not the maid, nor is dad. Make a list of the things that you need to do for your own sanity. It can kind of help you stay on top of things. And I know Michelle at My Everyday Wife Life, she likes lists. And then don't procrastinate. So I thought this was really a pretty good article. And then she has a free printable that is in here. So I will link this article below as well so that you can check that out should you desire. So now I'm going to stop sharing this and come back over here and just kind of see what people said. So Sylvia says her challenge is keeping the upstairs clean, but she does have the kids for helping. And sometimes I get that. Sometimes the downstairs, the public areas of the house are a little bit easier to keep clean than the private areas because you're tired by the time you get there. But maybe you might consider starting some kind of a routine and a schedule to help you with that. Hey, Tashi, I missed you there. And then, Michelle's a big list maker. I know that from watching her channel. And then Shelly is talking about the dressing up. She says, why should we look slovenly for our family, but dress up for strangers when we leave the house? I give my best to those I love, so I look presentable every day. Shelly, I believe you must be a follower of Jennifer Scott at the Daily Connoisseur because she's always talking about being presentable. And I agree with that sentiment exactly. We need to be presentable. And one of the things that I listened to a TED Talk the other day from a woman who talked about don't let your candle melt in the closet. And in essence, she had gone somewhere on a special vacation, bought a special candle wherever she was, brought it home and didn't light it because she was going to save it for a special occasion. And she put it in the closet and it was in there for a year or so. And when the special occasion came, she got it out and the candle had melted. So what it taught her was don't put off things or save things for a special time, but to enjoy those things you love on a day-to-day basis. So yes, wear those things that you have that you enjoy often. And I'm trying to do the same. And I will just tell you guys, my husband likes it when I put on one of my nice dresses. He likes to look at my legs. Go figure. But he does. Okay. And hey, my sister Lavina Stewart has jumped on and joined us. Hey, sis, I'm glad you're here. And Christy says she doesn't accomplish much if she doesn't get dressed for the day. Christy, I get it. I totally get it. Okay, so now the other thing that I wanted us to look at was this article that I found on how much is a stay-at-home parent worth. Because if you think about it, you're that stay-at-home parent. If something should happen to you and your partner would have to replace you in the home, how much would it cost to do that? Should there be insurance on the stay-at-home partner? That's a good question. So there's the question. So this article I found to be quite interesting. So I'm going to share and share and share and share. And I believe that's right. Yes. Okay. So this article was out of Investopedia, and there's all kind of things you can find online in that regards. But it was just so interesting. So when you look at, like a stay-at-home parent, it says that it includes an endless amount of demands and to-dos. And so depending on 2019 data from salary.com, if you are a stay-at-home mom or dad and paid for your services, get this, you would be looking at a median annual salary of $178,000 and 201 odd dollars. Can you believe that? 178 and $201,000 as a stay-at-home parent. I bet you didn't know that now, did you? So just tell me in the chat box what you think about that. What do you just think about that? So now here we go. It says that because stay-at-home parents so often wear so many hats and they employ so many skills, you got to be a tutor. Stay-at-home parents now are doing virtual school because of COVID. Negotiator, nurse, party planner, and chef. Not to mention chauffeur and all the other things we do as parents. So key takeaways. A stay-at-home parent performs various jobs, all under the title of homemaker. And according to the Pew Research Center, 1 in 5 adults are stay-at-home parents. So now you're not hopefully you're not so lonely. That's almost 20% of, the adult population. 1 in 5 are stay-at-home parents. Stay-at-home parents act as chauffeurs, chefs, nannies, tutors, and house cleaners. And there is discussion as to whether or not those stay-at-home parents should be um, um, paid. So there's that. So now, if you look at what some of the different, and I thought it was interesting how he kind of cost out some of these different ones. So if you were the chef, like meal preparation is one of the big things we do as homemakers. And so a personal chef could earn up to $65 an hour. And if you're doing 3 meals, not just snacks, someone's 3 hours a day to prepare, that could easily be $1,365 a week as the chef. Grocery shopping. Now, if you look at the grocery delivery services that you get now, there's a delivery fee of $20. If a homemaker shops twice a week, I don't. I usually just shop once a month. But even if you shop once a week at $20 a week, if you go twice a week, you're looking at $160 a month just to get the groceries in the house. If it's once a week, it's going to be $80 a month just to get the groceries there. What you're paying for the shopper at Kroger to take care of that. House cleaner, look at this one. If a stay-at-home parent made an annual salary, it could run again above $178,000 based on salary.com, because professional maids can make anywhere between $20 to $40 an hour on an average. What can I say? Childcare. Stay-at-home parents include full-time live-in childcare. Now, this kind of service from an International Nanny Association said nannies earn about $20 an hour. For a 40-hour-a-week job, a stay-at-home parent on that salary would be making $800 a week or $3,200 a month. So if you're working outside the home and you're paying childcare for your child, how much are you paying a week for that childcare service? I'm just curious. Tell me in the chat box how much you pay for childcare, or roundabout. Laundry service. This one is also quite interesting. Laundry service. Clean clothes come at a cost. So if you take your clothes out, for professional laundry, they charge you $3 a pound. And then things that are larger, like comforters and that kind of thing, could be as high as $5 a pound. So you could be paying $336 a week for laundry. You know what? I'm going to ask my husband for a check because I do laundry every day. So I could certainly see that. Did you guys hear him yell? He heard me say that. So yeah. So just kind of look at that. So I just thought that was so interesting that that there's that salary range that a full-time homemaker could garner. Isn't that interesting? So now let me see what you guys are saying over here. Oh, Shelly says she does follow Jennifer, but she felt this way long before she found her. Oh, I'm not saying you didn't feel that way, but Jennifer always talks about being presentable. That's a term that I kind of associate with her. So I say it to my husband all the time. So Tashi, no, you don't have to be a parent in order to be a stay-at-home wife. Because remember, your key word there is wife. If you're a wife, you're a stay-at-home wife. You don't have to be a parent. You're a stay-at-home homemaker if you're just in the home full time. And I know that you're fairly new bride. I think you've only been married a couple of years or not very long. So, you're a stay-at-home wife, but you're certainly a stay-at-home homemaker, or you could be a full-time homemaker, but you're making a home for you and your hubby. You don't have to have any kids to be a homemaker, and it could just be you, but I know it's you and your hubby because I know you're a fairly newlywed. Not 1 year new, but I'm thinking like less than 5 years new. Michelle's talking about being a home manager. And Cal, did I speak to you? I hope I did. So Michelle said they're an empty nester now for over 10 years. And you know what? We've been empty nesters for more than 10 years too. So I'm certainly a stay-at-home wife. I'm definitely a full-time homemaker, but there's no kids here now. Thank goodness. Been there, done that. And yes, you can't pay someone to do what a mother will do. Shirley Taylor said she was always happy to be there for her kids. We had many camp out sleepovers and lots of good treats made by mom. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? And for those mothers that work outside the home, they're doing some of those similar things. They just can't do them quite as often. They might have to wait and do them on the weekend because they're doing the same homemaking things as well. They're making treats on Saturdays and Sundays, and they might have to stay up late, make those treats, and send those cupcakes in. Except that I don't think you can send in homemade cupcakes anymore. I think some of that's changed. You have to buy them now. Let's see. And then left hand is here. So Anna says she agrees stay-at-home parents should have life insurance policies. One of her friends has the opposite opinion. Is then a very interesting discussion to have. Well, look at it that way. Like if your partner had to hire someone to do all the things you do at home because something happened to you, it would be quite expensive. So that's just something to think about. Okay. So yes, I have said that several times. So Nefertiri said she read an article written by a woman who, the article, I am so dry tonight. She says she read an article written by a woman entitled Why I Want a Wife. It was a play on information in the article, and it was a tragic comedy. But I certainly get it. Because there have been times in my life where I was thinking, I need a wife. And if you think about it, so often, if there are things that need to be done, a man would not hesitate to hire out to get someone to do the things that need to be done. But we as women feel like so often that we need to be doing all these things ourselves. But hey, there have been plenty of days when I'm like, you know what? I need a wife. I need someone to cook for me and clean the house and do the laundry and do all those things that I do. Plus, I go outside the home to do. So yes, I can certainly get it. I was just talking to somebody the other day and I told him, I said, you need a wife. But of course, that wasn't going to happen. Let's see. Okay. All right. So there was that. And I have just one last thing that I wanted to tell you guys about. And this one is an article that I found in a copy of The Good Housekeeping. And it's a bonus concept, but it talked about maximizing the 5 most important minutes of your day. And it lends itself well to what we've been talking about in regards to establishing a routine and then following the routine or your schedule and that kind of thing. And it's from Tanya Dalton, who wrote a book called The Joy of Missing Out. And Tanya Dalton is the one that creates the planner that I use, the Inkwell Press planner. But she says the 5 most important minutes of your day include minute number 1, reflect on the day's accomplishments. So at the end of the day, just kind of sit down and just kind of reflect on the day's accomplishments. And then think of the big picture. Was it a good day versus, that you've had? And did you take care of the time to do the things that you needed to do? Because just reflecting can make a big difference. Minute number 2, evaluate your day. Did you put too much on your plate? How was your stress, your attitude, your focus? And if you're constantly at high stress, you need to do some things differently. Minute number 3, assess what you did to move closer to your goals. And then minute number 4, it's all about gratitude. So find 3 things to be grateful for. And minute number 5, set up your dominoes. Write down a few notes about tomorrow's action items and then the important tasks you need to do. So she was saying the last 5 minutes of the day are very, very important. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Like the last 5 minutes of your evening routine at the end of the day. So that I just thought was interesting. So do you have any? Oh, I have one question that I wanted to get to that someone asked. So let me go back and find it. So let me get it up there. So I'm going to share there. And this question. So one of my viewers asked, How did I prevent the ring in the first place? So she was looking at my video on the best way to remove ring around the collar, how to remove tough collar stains on dress shirts. And she wanted to know, how can she prevent the rings in the first place? Now, I know there are some little collar protectors that you can get, that you can have, either you yourself can wear inside your blouses to protect the collars, or that you can get for inside the collars for the men in your life that can kind of, collar guards to protect the collars from that. Now, whether or not he'll wear them is a good question. But other than that, there's really no way to prevent that ring around the collar. If you don't have a collar guard, there's nothing you can do, because the stain in the collar comes from body oils and the products you put on the body. So you take a shower and then you rub yourself down with lotion. Well, some of that's going to rub off in the collar. And then as you move through the day and you sweat and that kind of thing, that's going to rub off on the collar. And then those stains pretty much are inevitable. So there's that. Okay, so now Tashi says, as a millennial, she doesn't see it as a popular thing, and the majority of stay-at-home moms have families. She feels like an outcast, but she enjoys the traditional wife lifestyle. You know what, Tashi? You don't have to justify your family's lifestyle to other people. That's number one. But you and your husband have made the decision that you're going to stay at home and manage the house, and he's going to go outside and work and bring in the finances. And that can just help cement the foundation of your marriage, your relationship, that kind of thing. So it's okay. Don't feel like an outcast. There's lots of women out there who are in your same situation. As a matter of fact, there's several of them on YouTube. One of them is called Time and Tenderness, THYME, Time and Tenderness. And she does videos frequently about what she does as a stay-at-home wife with no children. So just kind of try not to let people make you feel bad about decisions that you and your husband have made. And it could be that some of those people are maybe a little bit jelly because they would like to have that same situation. So there's that. So Anna says that millennial moms stay-at-homes have gone up about 6% since 2014. So it is becoming a little bit more often. So hopefully you won't feel such an outcast, Tashi. But this refers to stay-at-home millennial moms. But I think you're starting to see a few more millennial wives who are stay-at-home. I know there's one called Ebony Nikita, I believe, that's a stay-at-home wife, and she talks about that all the time. And then Michelle is suggesting that Tashi check out the channel Wife Without Kids. And then there is Time and Tenderness. I believe that's it, Time and Tenderness. And there's another one, but if you Google in stay-at-home wife without kids, or just stay-at-home wife, no kids, something like that, different things will come up. So Tashi says, thank you. She's going to check some things out. And I mentioned this was that one channel. So, okay. Do you guys have any quick questions? Because otherwise it's about time for us to jump off here. I got time for one question and then I got to run. Okay. Well, looks like Tashi's thanked us. So, okay. So great, guys. Now, let me just remind you guys too that aprondiva.com is my new apron channel. Oh, I did want to share with you guys that. Here, let me just share with you that. Hang on for 1 second. So I'm going to share that. I have this in my one of my last videos about upcoming announcements, and here's where I talk about my Apron Diva. Why in April? Because in April I am launching the Apron Diva. That is my apron shop, and people have been asking, when can we buy aprons? Send me your link. So the Apron Diva is going to launch on April 11th for pre-orders, and the link will be in the description box below. So click on the link so you can be the first to know about that information. And so during the week of the Apron Diva launch, we will celebrate the 40,000 subscriber milestone for This and That with Denise. So there'll be some fun giveaways. So be sure to come back for that. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing that and come back over here. So you guys, I put the link in the description box, so be sure and sign up for that. And let me just once again thank the Coldest Water for co-sponsoring this live stream, because the other sponsor is Apron Diva. So yes, I'm so excited. And oh my, I'm getting a compliment. So Lavina says, I'm looking beautiful tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then Patricia says she's late. Yeah, Patricia, we're getting ready to wrap it up. So I did not mean to keep us on this long as well. And so Tashi, those channels were Time and Tenderness. That was the channel. Time and Tenderness is the name of a channel that I was telling you about. So check that one out too. And she's got a really funny episode where she was trying to be a 1950s housewife and about burned the house up when she was cooking something. So check it out. She's just cute as button. So there's that. So this is going to be it tonight for now, ladies and gents. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.